Hey everyone, Paul ISM. Welcome to an inbox review. Today we're going to be reviewing Model Fatty Heroes 124 Porsche 917 slash 20 Pink Pig. Now, this was a very kind gift from a patron subscriber, and thank you very much, buddy. Much appreciated. Very generous gift. It's such an awesome car. I think it's really pretty. I know it gets called ugly by a lot of people, but I think it's a cool looking car, and I do love the pink scheme on it too. So yeah, it's definitely one of the ones that a lot of people might not like, but I actually do. It is 24 scale, so quite a bit considerably smaller, half the size. Funny how that works, isn't it? Than the Lancia counterpart, but we're gonna have a look through, see what we get. It is a full detail kit, so hopefully, well, I know it is. It's going to be a highly detailed kit. Incidentally, my 12 scale Lancia 037, you can just see it there on my shoulder, arrived today as well. So the review of that up in a couple of days too, and that looks immense. Looks very cool. And if you've not been following it, the 12 scale of my Modified Hero Lancia Delta is up on the channel as well. There's 8 parts, 7 of them are up right now. The 8th part will be up in a couple of weeks for non-patrons. If you're a patron, they're there on any release. You can go watch them. Anyway, let's get into the review and see what we've got. Hey everyone, please subscribe to the channel, click the bell notifications, get notified of our latest videos, give the video a thumbs up or a thumbs down, and leave a comment. I do read and appreciate every comment you guys and girls leave behind. I may not reply to them all, but they are all appreciated. And there's a link in the description of the video that takes you to a big long list of all handy videos and a lot of the products I use in my videos. You now have the chance to support the video content creation by using Patreon or the PayPal me link in the description down below. All the videos always remain free to watch. This is just your chance to help support the videos. Right then, so as I said, 24 scale, it's a lot smaller of a box, a lot more manageable. Got a nice picture on the end of this awesome machine. Absolutely beautiful car. We were talking about this today on the live stream. Some people not liking the colour and the meat cut marks, but I really like this kit. I think it's really cool, and it's a pretty car. It really is, and yeah, very nice. So 24 scale, it's a full detail set. I've seen these before, but a quick look through this box, but we're going to have a much more in-depth look. So look at our decals. Pretty straightforward there, it shouldn't be too taxing. We've got our instructions, which we'll have a look at in a bit as well. We have, and this is where the 24 scale kits, look at that, plastic box for the body shell. And why can't they do that for the 12ths? Instead of leaving everything in there loose. So you got a nice plastic case for the body shell. We've got the vac form screen. We've got a bubble wrap with nothing in. We've got a bag of goodies, as you can see there. We'll look at those later as well. We've got another box with the road tyres, wheels, looks like the kind of monocoque. I'm going to guess it's the interior, is it? The actual monocoque build of the cockpit. We've got a floor pan, or part of it, in white metal. We've got bags of white metal. And photo etch. Ta-da! Oh, that's a nice photo etch. Really like the photo etch in Modified Hero kits. It is top drawer. So, as you see, it's a lot less busy than the 12 scales. Obviously, these things are almost, well, they're well over half the cost of the big scale counterparts. Is that going to be a reduction in detail? I don't know. I've had one of these kits before. I had a McLaren ages ago, the F1 GTR, and I sold it because I had nothing but bad things about it. So this is going to be interesting to see what it's like. But one thing I will say is the resin is ultra thin, and I mean you can see through that quite easily. It is ultra thin resin, and look at these hinge points here at the top. How long do you think they're going to last? Wow, that it's so unbelievably light. It is crazy. You're going to have to be super careful with that, because you've got some rough edges of resin to remove on the side there. You're going to have to be unbelievably careful, but the detail is beautiful. It's just got like mold seams around the edge, so a light sand, a little bit in the wheel arch, a little bit at the bottom here where it's been cut from its paw plug. The NACA ducts, whatever you want to call them, I call them NACA NACA ducts, aren't they? There, need cleaning out of the resin. Really simple to do. We've got a couple of holes at the back, some drill holes, but it's unbelievably light. It's like paper light, but really well molded. Really well done. Those iconic fins at the back are really nice. So that is pretty cool. And obviously onto the front section. So they're going to fit in there. The fit, I'm only lining it up roughly. The fit is really good. It actually lines up really well, so hopefully it shouldn't give us any detail. Bother. So the front section, now this is the sketchy part. You see these doors? These clear defined doors. You get the option to cut these out. Because look, there's a door there. I tell you now, anyone who's brave enough to cut that door out of that unbelievably thin and flexible resin, all I say is hats off to you, sir, or madam, or wherever you feel like being. That is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Got these beautiful grills made there. Again, the resin's a little bit rough. There's a roughness to the top of them. I don't know if it'll zoom in enough. So you are going to have to sand that to get rid of it. But overall, the resin quality is very good. I said in a recent review that Model Factory Heroes resin doesn't hold a candle towards alpha. This is a lot better. A lot better, but it's still rough in areas. It's definitely an area where Model Factory Hero could up their game. The price of these kits, the price point, they most definitely should. But it's beautifully molded and it's just such a beautiful car. It really is an absolutely beautiful machine. Very, very cool. And that resin is very, very nice. Although that piece is terrifyingly thin. You can see through that. Look, I'm telling you now. You can almost see the green through my mat there. I can't think of any colour. Red. I just wanted it to show through and it won't. But yeah, super, super quality resin. Very, very high quality. So they need extra special care. In here, we've got what look to be seats. And are they the side pods that go on the edge? And again, beautiful resin. Really nice. Again, not perfect. It is going to need some cleanup, but it's pretty well cast. It is cast resin again as well. So that's not bad at all. Same on that side. Symmetrical piece. And then this door. I tell you now, anyone who cuts that door off, I mean, you're a madman for a start. A mad person. And all across my mind is Soba. That is going to be unbelievably sketchy to cut off. Wow. But it's there. The options are there should you wish to do it. But that's a brave person who would choose to do that. Seats, obviously we've got the racing seat and then the obligatory passenger seat. Part of the rules, isn't it? So the seat's nice. Pretty basic seat. Quite typical of that era of racing. Just a standard bucket seat with the two harness holes in the side. So again, nicely cast in resin. And then this is cool. These, I'm going to assume, are all the fiberglass parts. Let me just pop these back in the bag. So these are all the fiberglass parts for like the engine bay and what have you. And they're molded in this coloured. That's a dodgy part, putting that in there. It really is. Don't leave that out for now. We'll do that later. They're molded in this like off yellow, clear yellow-ish resin, which I think if you can get a little bit of a base colour underneath it, it will replicate. It's a fiberglass, isn't it? I think it's replicating. The fiberglass covers and bits that are on the car. I think it'd replicate it well. What colour did you use? I don't know. Whether it be like a cream or whatever. But again, it's nicely cast. It's not perfect by a long shot at all. I think getting Model Factory Hero, you know these kits are going to need work. But there's some nice parts in there. And it does have that nice tint of a hue to it. I've no idea what the bits are. We'll have a look in a little bit. That's a cooling fan, obviously. There as well. Lots of other bits, but loads of bits on there. There's plenty of bits, like I say. What they quite are, I have absolutely no idea, but they are there. Whee! Then you drop them. So yeah, it's a nice touch out to keep those that colour. Like I say, you'd have to do a bit of research to what's around. My thought was if you painted underneath with a colour that would bring out that yellowish fiberglass look, that you might be able to use that to your advantage and get a much more realistic looking glass. I think it is glass fibre, isn't it, off the top of my head? A glass fibre finish. Rather than trying to paint the whole thing from scratch, you might as well make the most of that resin colour, because I assume that is why it's been designed like that. I might be talking utter rubbish, I don't know. In the other box over here, which I've not ventured into at all yet, we have tyres, so 5, because you need the spare one as well. So there are no manufacturer markings, but they are clean. There is no seam on there at all. There is nothing there whatsoever. So they're okay, and then we grab our others. So they're staggered, so what front, so thinners in the back, and then there's the obligatory spare wheel as well. So again, and the rears, again, that nice tread pattern, bit of a seam on the rear ones. So you're going to have to get your sander on those and take care of them. You could have a sniff, haven't you? It's rubber. We all have a bit of a rubber fetish deep down, don't we? We're all modelers. We all do. So, yeah. Like I say, a little bit of a seam there. Get a bit of a sander on there. You'll have no bother there with that one. That'll take care of that easily. I'm just going to pop some of this back in here out of the way. Try and keep these parts safe. You get off there. You go in there. We'll spin you around. It's like the Tetris, this, isn't it? You get it out of the box, you can't get it back in. Hang on, those tyres weren't out of there. Where did they come out of this box? Jeez, bloody hell. But anyway, let's put that back in there. Nice touch, that little plastic case. They could learn a lot by doing that on the 12 scales. I know it adds a bit to the production cost, but they are kind of they're not the cheapest kit anyway, are they? I'll have to piece out now. Like, how unprofessional. Yeah, there'll be professional car modelling forums in uproar now because I've left a piece out of the bag. Well, probably because I called it fiberglass into composite fiberglass shards baked in tomato sauce for 3 days and sauteed with peas. There we go. So yeah, I do like that. Cheap plastic case can make all the difference at the end of the day. So also in here we've got the wheels. And I'm guessing this is kind of the cockpit. No, it can't be actually, can't. No, I'm talking stupid here. It must be the engine cradle, is it? So it's a nice big piece of white metal. It's going to need a substantial amount of cleanup, but it's relatively straight. It's not too bent or knocked around. It does have some strength, obviously, because of its structure, but there's lots of excess white metal. So there's a bit of cleanup required there. So that's going to go in the tumbler. And then you have to get probably a knife on it, sanders, the full shemong on that one. And then obviously make sure it's all straight. So that's nice. And then some turned aluminium wheels. Which again, staggered. There we go, they're nice. Always nice to get these. Nice addition. Right, a nice bit of aluminium. Pre-drilled tyre valve holes in there as well. You can see it at the 6 o'clock position. So that's cool because they are a little bit difficult to drill into these things. Pop those back in as well. So yeah, another little bit of goodies. There's plenty to it for a 24 scale kit. There certainly is plenty to keep you busy. So I can't remember the exact price of these. I'll try and remember and pop her up at the beginning of the video. I'm pretty sure they're around the £250–300 mark, so they're not cheap. But you know, that's half the cost of what I've just paid for my latest 12 scale one. So you know, it all depends on the scale you want to build. Obviously, this is still going to be an in-depth build. Oh, that's nice. Nice chassis. Again, nice bit of white metal. Plenty of cleanup required though. Not as bad as the other piece, but you are still going to have to clean it up and straighten everything and test fit and so on and so forth. So you've got a bit of work ahead of you, but that's your clean up. Again, get in the tumbler, clean it up, give it a sand, scrape, whatever you use to de-seam it, and job done. That won't be an issue at all. White metal. I'm not going to go through every single white metal part. We'll just have a quick look at what we've got in some of the bags. I'll grab some of the bigger bits, more interesting. So we've got some hoses, quite nicely detailed. Lots of other parts, just your typical white metal quality. Get these in a tumbler, they'll be spotless in no time. Get them de-seamed, job done. Until then, rubbing them, you're going to get black fingers. It's just the way it is. And they are going to need straightening up. Assuming that they're already straight. Don't go straightening things up till you know. Test fit parts. This is the key with these kits. It is test fit, test fit, test fit. But there's nothing in here of any real. There's a mirror. Nothing in that bag of any real interest. They're just parts. And to be honest, I haven't got a clue what they are. I couldn't tell you, but good quality white metal. Not too bad at all. But it looks so much better when they've been cleaned up. It does look daunting, it does, but it's relatively easy to work with. It sands easy, it cleans up well. It completely destroys your sander. So I was using a combination of my Tamiya files, UMP sponges, and they do slowly wreck your sanders with the blackness of the white metal. Got some sort of extinguisher there as well. Like I said, I'm trying to pick just noticeable pieces with a box of some sort. There we go. So I'm not boring you all going through every single part because, well, that's bloody boring, isn't it? It really is. Right. Engine. Lots of nice bits in here. So we've got some wheels. I'm assuming that's a spare wheel. I'm assuming that's the spare wheel bit for it. Where's the other wheels? They're over there. So this will be your spare wheel. It's going to go the other way, is it? There we are. So that'll go that way. Got your spare white metal wheel. Then we've got engine covers. There's some nice detail on it. These will be the engine. No, they don't go together, do they? Oh, they might do. Yeah, they might do actually. Yeah, it does. They go together. You got these. Again, I'm not even going to pretend to know what they are because I haven't looked at the instructions yet. But the detail's nice on them. There's lots of nice. Oh, the transmission's nice. Look at the transmission. That's a nice detailed part. Once these are painted up, given a wash, they will come alive. They will look very, very nice. And again, lots of components. Steering knuckles, rear hub, lots of parts. Another extinguisher, lots and lots of nice parts. That'll be the other end of gearbox, I'm guessing. So lovely. This is going to look nice. Once you get a wash on these parts, get them all painted up in your metallics of choice, these are going to look really nice. Like I say, they do look daunting. I know they do. They're doing all the scales. They do 143rd, 124th, 112th. I intended to get a 143rd. I do like 143rd as a scale. They're pretty sadistic because they are very high detail for the scale. But I think they'd be good fun to build. Not cheap though. I think they're about 100, 150 odd quid. So they're not the cheapest of kits, but I think it'd be good fun. You know, a little bit of a test of your skills, what you can do to it. Now, there's lots of little bits in here. So there's all our wheels. More bits. What have we got in here? Let's have a look. I'll just grab any notable bits. So we've got some nice, I've just seen some 24 scale hose connectors there. I got their brittle. Or something or other, I don't know what they are, but they're there. Some sort of connectors, they're very brittle on there. Some other bits, just trying to find them interesting. Got an accelerator. Or something, I don't know what that is actually. Is it a pedal? Could be a pedal with some sort of valve. Hard to tell, to be honest. It really is, but yeah, brake discs. So they are vented discs as well. Is there any PE for these? It would appear not. There's no PE for the brake, so they are grooved. They do have their grooving already in place. They're vented, so they don't look too bad. And lots of other parts. That's a little, that's a distributor. There you go. So not a bad distributor there. Lots of fiddly little parts there. So, as always, these kits, it's well worth going through and checking them all off. I've got two of these here. I've got this one and a 12 scale one to do. Nightmare. So, always going to be fun and games. Brake caliper there. There you go. Brake caliper as well. I can show you without losing it again. There we go. It's 24 scale brake caliper. Yeah, well worth going through checking off the parts. Make sure they're all there. That way you can get any spares beforehand. Make sure you're not, losing or lost major components. So I've got this one to do. My 12 scale Lancer 037 arrived today. So you'll see a review of that hopefully in the next couple of days. And it's well worth going through and checking off the parts. It's so boring to do, it's beyond a joke. But I think it's an important step because you don't want to come to the build, get going on it, get all enthused, and then you get hit apart and you're missing a major component that would be pretty difficult to scratch build. Because that would be a real shame. Because you've got to then source or make the parts. And that's when things start getting a bit tricky then. So yeah, got to be mindful of that. We've got loads of little bits. Obviously, building the 12 scale one, the parts are massive. This is a lot smaller. So again, I'm not going to get every part, but you can see here we've got loads of, God knows what these are. Looks like, does it have a roll cage in it? I don't know, but the structural bent to hell. So they're all going to need straightening out. You know what? Other than a few parts like this, I couldn't tell you what any of this is. That looks like a kind of firewall. Oh, is it the dashboard? It might be the dashboard, yeah, to fit in. Or the dashboard top. Other than that, there's nothing in there of any significant interest, but lots and lots of fiddly little white metal bits. It's the thing, it can be daunting and uninspiring at the same time. So, second time into a Model Factory Hero, I've looked at the 037 today quickly, and it just doesn't seem intimidating anymore, because obviously I've got one that's well underway. But obviously I know the amount of work required, and this is on a smaller scale. So is it going to be easier? I don't think it will it? I think because it's smaller, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a faster or easier build, because it's going to be very fiddly to make. you've got all these tiny parts to try and bend into shape, because they'll be under the illusion any of these are going to fit, because they're not. You're going to have to make all this fit. And you've got tiny, tiny little parts to contend with. So it's probably just as much for the different reason of its scale as a challenge. It's a larger one. So yeah, I mean, this was a wonderful gift, and I thank the donor very, very much. Wants to remain anonymous, which is understandable, no problem at all. He's got a very distinctive surname, so I won't call him by his surname. I'll call him by his first name. So thank you to Williger for this kind. Oh no, hang on, that's even worse. I'll edit that out. Nobody will know it's him. I'm joking. That's not who gave me the kit. Yeah, would it be my first choice? No, I'd go 12th if I could. But it's still beautiful. I mean, look at the steering wheel. Lovely little steering wheel. Very, very nice. You've got exhaust, manifolds, more connectors, a bar, a thing, more exhausts, stuff, more exhaust stuff, more, loads of little things. I don't know what they are. I'm not going to lie. But it's the same kind of quality. That's the steering column, is it? Yeah. That'll be for the steering wheel, I assume. I'm not going to lie and say I know what they are, because I don't. But it's white metal. It's cast in typical white metal. You can see how filthy it is. The bag is gross. So it will need cleaning up. And I've done it two ways. I've used a tumbler, which is a mega simple way of doing it. You literally chuck it in the tumbler with some detergent. I used washing up liquid dish soap, and it cleaned the parts up great. Or you can do it the hard way. You can scrub with a toothbrush. I use white vinegar, washing up liquid, toothbrush, IPA based cleaner, and it did clean them up well. But the tumbler hits them with tiny metal pins, and basically just removes a microscopic layer of metal off the surface, and they go from looking this dull colour to a nice bright metal finish. I'll show you the difference now if I can get my box out from under here without dropping everything. So there you go. These are all cleaned up parts. These are off the 037. So you can see the difference there between a part that's tumbled and how shiny and clean that is compared to the duller finish of this. So it just shows you what the tumbler is capable of, and it is a worthy addition. So yeah, if you can afford one, get it for 125 quid. I need to add one to my list of products. I need to go through and update that. I got the Vivo one, 125 quid, and it's worked great so far. It really has. So there's all the white metal bits. Like I said, not as many as in the larger kit, but there's still quite a few. And then we've got a bag of goodies here, which I've not gone through any of this yet. So we've got a bag of clear plastic. Absolutely no idea what that's for. Hopefully we'll see the instructions. We've got some turn parts for lights. There's some springs in there. Turn metal bits. Pins. There's all sorts of stuff in there. Lights. Lots of stuff. It's quite hard to pick up because it reflects. But there's lots of nice little bits in there. They're all nice extras to get. Seatbelt material, I'm assuming. Might be wrong. Absolutely no idea what that stuff is. But again, we'll have to go through instructions and we'll try and figure out what it is. If you know, you know. And if you don't, well, you don't, do you? It's as simple as that. Got some metal rod there, like nickel plated rod in different diameters. As you can see, so God only knows what this is going to have the instructions doing. Whole bag of, small bag of screws, nowhere near the amount you get with the 12s, and some springs, nuts as well. So very cool. And then a bag of hoses, wires of various diameters, and what looks to be rubber hosing too. And there's a whole plethora of bits. So nice, you know, this is what adds all the detail to the kit, and it's what you're paying for essentially. So a nice bit of extras in there. Always good to see. Just see what that metal rod's going to be used for. We'll keep an eye out for that instructions in a minute. Got clear parts. I'm going to open this carefully. Oh, it's sealed. We'll open it anyway. Hate opening sealed parts. There we go. So it's a vac form screen in 2 parts. It's pretty clean, nicely done. Some very careful trimmage there. We'll get that cleaned out. So again, to be very careful what you're doing. Take your time cutting it out. Don't cut right to the edge on the first cut. You'll be just fine. Trim slowly and steady as you go. Got the chassis plate here. Again, getting a good clean up. Fairly straight. Very straight actually. Got some mounting points that look like screw holes. And then holes in the bottom as well, which would be locating points or something. But nice hefty piece of white metal. And then we've got our photo etch. So I'm going to cut that down there so we can slide it out and have a look. So the photo etch, Model Fatty Hero's photo etch is absolutely lovely. Always is nice. And just look at the quality of that. Beautiful, beautiful photo etch. Quite a bit of it. A whole cacophony of pieces there of different sorts. That's the right word, isn't it? We've got cable, hose clamps, all sorts of nuts and bolts, window wipers, levers. There are some unbelievably small parts of photo etch on that fret. Unbelievably small. And they are definitely going to be challenging, that's for sure. That's a very, very nice fret. So that's fret 1 of 2. So we'll pop that in there. Get in there, you. You can get in. Come on. No, you're not going to get in. We'll put you in a bit then. Oh, it's just this. Live on camera. It holds me up. And this is that is a very flexible sheet, high shine. This is a lot thicker. This is like a brushed aluminium look because it's like engine components. And just look at all those beautiful parts again. Absolutely stunning. It is. It blows me away, this PE. It's lovely. Really is nice. Some super high quality parts. You got the bulkhead, the cockpit there. Just a whole host of just beautifully made photo etch parts on that fret. Absolutely stunning. Very, very nice. So carefully cut them off, clean them up, and you shouldn't have any issues whatsoever. We'll put those over there. Decals. We'll look at the decals and we'll go through the instructions. So you see, there's a lot to the kit. There really is. Looks very, very nice. I'm not a fan of these sticky bags for decals, but they're better than not being sealed together. Now the Model Fatty Hero decals on the Lancia proved to be absolutely stunning, and these, well, they smell amazing for a start. Are very nice. Like a satin texture to them. They don't feel that thick. Very, very cool. We've got all our shell, Firestone, Sibby, shell, all sorts of logo. I said shell twice there, didn't I? Well, it's on there twice, isn't it? And they are nice. They are very nice, high quality decals. I don't think they'll give us any trouble at all. They'll be tricky on the wheels. But overall, they are very pretty. They're good register. Colours are good. Like I said, the decals are in register. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful decals. Very, very, very nice. Top marks for that, you know. And this is where I'd hope you get good decals. I'd be annoyed if you got terrible ones. The Lancia ones were very daunting. They went down absolutely fantastic. It was the last step we did on the Delta. So, quite confident in the quality of Fatty Hiro decals, and they look really good. Instructions. So, there it is, the wonderful machine. Look at that, it's mental. Crazy looking car. Look how wide it is. Really, I love it. I think it's a pretty car. I know some people say it's ugly. I like it. So on the front we've got the parts list. So there's no mention of the white metal parts at all. These are all the bigger parts, like the turned, clear parts, the vacuum parts. There's no mention of the white metal. So a good colour call out as well, which is good. What's it calling out in there? Mr. Colour. So Mr. Colour lacquers, and the colour spray is calling for 112 character flesh. I'm sure from your paint manufacturer choice to be the match colour. Do carefully temporary assembling. That right there is the most important bit of advice you can do. Test fit, test fit, test fit. Make sure it all fits together well. And we're starting off with the engine. And they're quite complex. It's quite a small instruction book compared to the larger scale kits. But it's not too busy. This is going to be a cool looking engine when it's done. So you've got your drill hole icons in green. These will be our glass fibre bits, or whatever they are that we were talking about earlier. But even for a small engine, there's our nickel wire there as well. It's saying the specific size to cut it to. So that's good as well. And the diameter. You're going to have to really pay attention to the instructions on this. Double distributors. Cooling fan. Wiring for the HT leads and so on and so forth. Ah, is that what that was? That stuff, that black stuff is microtape for doing the drive belts, I think. Okay, that's fair enough. Engines with their intakes. There's that rear frame to hold the engine. See, I was right second time round. I was right. And then moving on to transmission. So that engine in itself is one entire kind of model to sort out at first. That's going to be quite an undertaking, and that's going to look pretty damn cool when it's done. So that you all sit in that cradle, and then we're building a suspension around it. Dampers are really nice. We've seen those tear metal parts before, didn't we, in that bag? So they're there with the brakes and the hub. Then all these white metal bits we saw in that bag. You're going to have to really be careful building this and test fit everything multiple times to make sure it all goes together. Fuel tank. There's that bulkhead. Yeah, this is going to be a tricky build, this one. Look, there's all the white metal parts for the front frame. My God. All the ducting. It's certainly going to be a tricky build, this one. There's more of that wire. There's all our belts going in on the seat. There's that top of the dashboard, I suppose we call it. There you go. Notice, do not confuse right or left. So there must be handy parts. You got your decal options here. Option of cutting the door off. Fair play if you do that. I'll give you that. Fair play. That's going to be tricky to do. Two of those boxes. Well, there's two of them, was there? I've only seen one. Where were they? They were there. Oh yeah, there are two. Yeah, there was. Headlights, windscreen in, front splitter. Then onto the back end. More of that silver wire for the engine cover lifting point. Winter wipers. Rear cowl stay so you can keep the engine open, assembling the wheels. And then a decal call out. So, I'm not going to lie, that's a very in-depth 24 scale kit. If it sounds like I'm not interested in the kit, I'm not. I'm just trying to concentrate and figure out what things are. That's quite a daunting little kit, that is. That front end there is going to be a nightmare to get all that to line up. You're going to have to test fit the living bejesus out of all that to get there all straight enough that it all fits together. Yeah, that's going to take some doing. So is there a front assembly? So where's the front part of that? There it is. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, okay, you kind of have got that to go by, but it's still going to be a hell of a kit. So, whilst it's smaller scale, I think a smaller scale is going to definitely add a challenge to it. There's a lot of parts. There are a lot. There's not as in the same depth as the larger scale ones, but there's still bag upon bag of white metal, and they're tiny as well. So it's definitely going to be a bit of a challenge. Right then, let's go back to me some final thoughts. There we are then. So, like I say, while it's not the dimension of the 12 scale kit, being 24th, I think it's definitely going to be a challenge. You've got a lot of small parts in there, a lot of complex sub-assemblies to build. It's going to be a challenge all upon itself, that thing. The resin for the body shell, you're going to have to be super careful with because it's very, very thin in places. Really thin. And like I said, if you cut those doors off, fair play to you. Fair play to you. I would not attempt that. That resin is very thin, and I think you stand a chance of breaking that if you're not careful. So, yeah, I would be very hesitant to do that one. But fair play if you do, and if you have done it, let me know. I'd be interested to see it. And if you built the kit, let me know as well. But it looks a good kit. Like I said, they're half the price of the 12 scales. Are they half the detail? I don't think they are. I think it's all there relative in scale. It's going to be just as difficult to build because, like I say, the scale is going to make that harder to do. But yeah, if it was me, I'd go for 12, which is what the donator of this kit did, and hence I ended up with this in my stash. So thank you, buddy. Much appreciated. A very, very generous person. Thank you, mate. Really means a lot, your support. So absolutely fantastic. So there we go. What did you think of that? That's the 24 scale. I might try and get a 143rd at some point. I think he's still got the Lancia S4 and 43rd. I'll have a look around. It'd be nice to see all three scales, wouldn't it, next to each other? Because they're still full detail. They're still manically impressive. And yeah, a very detailed build. So it would be interesting to see. So maybe I can have one of those to stash at some point as well. If you've got any or built any 24 scale modified heroes, let me know. I'd be interested to hear your opinion on them. Hopefully this one will fit together quite well. When we build it, not quite sure. I think the 037 will be next after of the builds. But it's definitely a nice addition to the stash. I know a lot of people were eager to see it. So there's the review. Some people don't like it, call it ugly. I like the Pink Pig. I think it's a cool car in a great scheme as well. There we go. Thanks for watching. As always, you want to support the channel, there's a Patreon link down below. Become a patron, you get 2-week early access on all the videos. There's usually a good half a dozen videos on early access before they hit ISM. And if not, wait a couple of weeks, they go over to ISM. You also get a weekly exclusive Patreon live stream as well. So that's dedicated to you, as well as other perks like picking reviews every now and then, things like that, just silly things. And more importantly, keeping these videos going. Without your support, I couldn't carry on doing this. There's a PayPal me and a Buy Me Coffee link as well. There's all kinds of groups below, linked in the description. My ISM, the Facebook page, forum, umpretail.com, my modelling page, my styrene and machine Facebook group I've set up recently, which focuses on automotive, both in scale, modelling, and in real life. So if you see anything cool motoring wise, you can pop it on there. Come over and join the group. We've hit 330 followers, group members in a few days, so it's doing really well at the minute. And I'm hoping to build up a nice little community there of a different sort. So, you know, ISM's orientated to be just every kind of modelling. This is automotive only. and it's doing well so far. So some really cool stuff shared on there. So come and join us over there. And of course, my scale rate is there. There's an email address to get in touch with me, and the Amazon and the product list there for all the stuff I use in my videos. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, click the bell notification, give the video a thumbs up, and leave a comment. Love reading all your comments from patrons on air release or you guys and girls over on ISM. And question for today. I said somebody donated this kit to me in this video. I made a name up. What was the name? It doesn't have to be the perfect spelling, the roughest spelling you can get. What was the fake name I gave? You got the whole video to troll back through to have a look, unless you watched it properly. So let's see who watched it properly. There we are. So enjoy the rest of everyone. Take care. Bye bye.